Call this meeting to order. We'd like to welcome everybody to Washington County Board of Commissioners meeting, and thank you for being here. We'd like to excuse Commissioner Cox, who will not be attending our meeting today, but with that, we'd like to start our meeting with an invocation by Jesse Stockings from Solomon's Porch Foursquare Fellowship, after which Anson Tompkinson from the Washington County Sheriff's Officer Junior Explorer will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So, see.
Hello, everybody. Again, my name's Jesse Stocking, and I'm here on behalf of the St. George Interfaith Council, and glad to be here again to offer a prayer. Our kind and holy Father in heaven, we come together to give you thanks for the many gifts that you've given us, and ask that you help us be mindful of all that you have given us and help us to be good managers of those gifts. We are so grateful for this wonderful community that we live in, for all that Washington County administration and all of the departments of Washington County provides for us in this community, and we ask that you would bless them with all that they need to do their jobs well, to serve this community. I also ask a blessing as school year starts for all the traffic and the busyness, a special blessing for the students and the parents, that they would have a peace that surpasses understanding, and that they would be able to enjoy all of these new activities as this year proceeds. And ask a blessing as well on law enforcement and first responders that are out there in the community keeping us safe. I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Jesse.
Ladies and gentlemen, rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Hansen. Did you go to the county fair?
Yes.
You guys did a lot of work out there directing traffic. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. With the beginning of our meeting, we always start with the consent agenda. The consent agenda is a means of expediting routine matters which come before the commission for consideration. The consent portion of the agenda is approved by one non-debatable motion. If any commissioner wishes to remove an item from the consent portion of the agenda, that item becomes the first order of business on the regular agenda.
Chair, I'd like to read into the consent agenda the following items. Item A, consideration of auditor-approved claims for payment for August 7th, 2019 through August 20th, 2019. B, consideration of regular commission meeting minutes of August 6th, 2019 and Rockville, Springdale Governing Authority minutes of November 26, 2018 and December 4th, 2018. All still fresh on our mind. Consideration, item C, of administrative adjustments in real property, and D, consideration of administrative adjustments for personal property, and E, consideration of applications for property tax abatement. I move that they be approved.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The consent portion of our agenda passes. Item number 1, Ray, purchase requests.
Okay. The first one we have here is for the roads department. It's for a 2020 T800 Kenworth truck. This will pull multiple capacities. It'll be a snowplow, dump truck, and sander. Sorry, I couldn't find it in my notes. And that's the truck chassis itself is $126,639.82. And the dump bed, sander, and plow additions will be $73,808 for a total of $200,447.82. The second one is also for the roads department. It is for the asphalt to patch the Mesa Road and that's a total of $73,930.17. The next one is for the weeds department. It's various chemicals to spray the weeds, and that's a total of $10,408. And the final one is for the sheriff's office. It's a trade-in of the old one is a 2019 Ford F-150, and the new one is also 2019 Ford F-150, but a new one, not a used one. And we actually wound up with a $10 credit on that, but the total of the new truck is $39,988. Unless there's any questions, that's all.
Is there some place that we can spend that $10 at? I mean, do they have air fresheners there?
Yeah.
Get a six-pack of air fresheners, yeah. Be great.
Half a floor mat.
Yeah. Half a floor.
I like the air fresheners.
All
Very
right.
good. I move that we approve those purchase requests.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion passes. Next item is the sheriff's report on emergency services.
Thank you again.
Thanks.
for coming.
Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
Well, on this report, not as many numbers. We're going to knock on wood, not a bad thing. But we've only had 9 call-outs over the last month, this last report. But the call-outs that we've had have been quite significant and quite a bit involved, with 231 man-hours attached to them. Unfortunately, out of the 9, there's actually 3 of the instances that actually ended up dealing with fatalities that we had to deal with. So the first one was on July 17th with a UTV accident on Sand Mountain, where 3 subjects flipped the UTV. 13-year-old male that was in critical condition. Life flight was called in. He did not survive the accident. The others had minor injuries and were taken off the mountain, treated by medical from that accident. We had a 14-year-old that went missing up on Kolob, special needs, and had been gone most of the night. Search and rescue started up that way, and then we were finally notified that they finally located him and got him back to his camp. Missing hiker in Sand Cove, Babylon area. Husband and wife went out. The wife got tired and went back to the trailhead. The husband was going to keep going and got lost, disoriented, was missing for several hours before she called. They finally located him over near the Babylon Arch, dehydrated and unable to hike back. So search and rescue was able to get him closer to the river, get him cooled off, cooled down, get some fluids into him, and then with the hurricane, get him back over so that EMS could treat him for the dehydration and such. We responded to another ATV accident. Female rode an ATV out on the sand dunes. Was taken by ambulance to DRMC by Hurricane EMS. Missing paraglider that went missing in the Warner Valley area. We actually had sent out crews and was looking for it, had called Life Flight to see if they was available to do an aerial search. Life Flight was actually able to locate the crash site. The individual did not survive the crash of that paraglider. Search and rescue, working with our detectives and everything, were able to assist with getting him retrieved out of there. We had a lost hiker in Babylon Arch that once they finally located him, get him some fluids and stuff, was able to hike back out on his own. That was 24 hours on that call. Injured biker on Stookie Springs, 30-year-old female crashed, was unable to hike out. Search and rescue was able to respond, locate, and then help transport back to where their vehicles were at the trailhead. We had an individual that went down over in Gold's Wash. Actually, he was up here for a long-range rifle shooting competition. Gone down to kneeling, and I don't even need to read this one. I'm pretty familiar with it, but he went to go down kneeling and go prone to do some shooting, and as he hit his knees, all of a sudden just flat out collapsed. Looks like he had a massive heart attack. CPR was in progress. The search and rescue and deputies were responding out there on that one. Individual is a Las Vegas Metro officer. Will actually be working with mortuary and Las Vegas Metro on Thursday to escort him back home. And then we had an injured hiker, 26-year-old female injured while hiking up in Hellhole, Red Mountain area. Injury was significant enough that search and rescue, along with Ivan's EMS and fire, responded, and they basically had to put her into a Stokes and pack her all the way back out. She was transported to the RMC. Not as high on the numbers, but a lot more
Yeah.
significant on the types of calls that we responded to. And I don't know what we'd do without our volunteers. I don't know what we'd do. But also a reminder to our people that are out recreating and enjoying the backcountry, plan well, be prepared, and make sure people know where you're at.
Are they using more and more any drones? Do you have drones to do
We do have
surveillance?
some that we do use for certain types of searches and stuff, but when you get that Babylon area, it's quite massive. You're not gonna.
Yeah, see much.
Yeah.
Just a little camera shot. So, well, thank you, and we appreciate you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes.
Next item is consideration of ordinance 2019-1145-0, an ordinance including the Utah Department of Transportation as an ex officio member of the Washington County Council of Government with limited voting privileges. And I can speak to this one. Also allow Commissioner Almquist. This is just simply as we are getting ready to have a transit running from St. George to Zions. UDOT has brought in $15 million as a part of that. And they approached us and said, hey, it'd be okay if we were part of the board. We told them to bring another $15 million when we think about it. But no, they're great partners, and it makes absolute sense to have them at the table in discussions and talking about these important issues. And we really do appreciate UDOT.
Plus, they provide that expertise, and granted, they've already been putting out money for other things in this area, but as part of the legislature's push to get that transit issue solved, then UDOT was a natural because it involves their road.
Yep.
So, yeah, I thought that was wonderful, and I move that we accept for ordinance 2019-1145-0, the ordinance including the Utah Department of Transportation as an ex officio member of the Washington County Council of Governments with limited voting privilege.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion passes. Our next item is item 4, consideration resolution R-2019-2502, a resolution correction, what is that? Typographic errors in a property tax abatement approved July 2nd, 2019. Eric?
I have to put a ton of big words in there whenever I make a mistake to make it look like I'm know what I'm doing. Last month, you guys approved a tax abatement that was based on an old tax deferral agreement with Mr. Brennan. And when Mr. Brennan submitted that and when I looked at it, we assumed that tax was tied to his land in the reserve. But when the county processed that, they tied that tax to his land in Long Valley. So what you guys approved was forgiveness of a tax that didn't exist in the reserve, one that still is attached to another parcel.
Oh.
So this just cleans that up.
Okay, very good. That makes sense.
No, that's perfect. So move that we approve the resolution number R 2019-2502 for correction of typographic errors in a property tax abatement, which was approved on July 2nd, 2019.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion passes. So with that, we're at item 5, which is Commissioner's Report.
Well, I can say that you and I have been involved in a lot of things, and especially today, though, I thought it was hopeful for the progress made in getting the transportation corridor from Springdale to St. George area. I thought today was the most significant progress, not only of selection of types of buses, and granted, we finalized things later, but it was just nice to have an open discussion with mayors, UDOT, 5 county, other planners that really help us, the MPO, of course, to make that a reality. And how the nuts and bolts and how it all fits in is yet to be decided, but today was some excellent progress in that. There's also some funding still that's coming through as we discuss the Justice Court and especially the Children's Justice Center and what they're doing there. For an update, the security system is in place which there's always a concern for that. So that's in place, and cameras and door locks, and it's just become a really safer environment for youth who've used of 18 and younger. And a lot of improvements being made by the director, Christy Pike, out there, and her great team. That's my report.
Very good. And I'd just like to thank everybody for their help and participation in the Washington County Fair, especially the Sheriff's Office. I think we had a lot of fun this year. It seemed a little, Susie did a good job at keeping food out there, and I think law enforcement, as they came out, they felt appreciated. I hope they did. Anyway, there seemed to be a lot of camaraderie, and attendance was really good this year. It's kind of a change, a new year, but I think we had reports back, and the only way we really know attendance is through the parking take. And so Wednesday and Thursday were the biggest years that they had on those particular days. And Friday was the third biggest year. And Saturday, I don't have the report back, but it did seem that it was well attended. We had a complete packed house for the Derby, and we had a rodeo this year. We also had barrel racing, and couple concerts, and everything seemed to be well attended. We had like reggae going on at the same time. We had a kids rodeo. It was really nice to kind of mix it up, and we had different parts of our community there at one time, which was really our goal. So looking forward to next year. It's always a learning curve whenever you do adjustments, but we did have a great time.
Two of my favorite fair memories. One was watching about 20 little kids under 5 years old play with all the miniature goats that were, had to be 20 or 30 of them too. And it was like they were all in some kumbaya moment as they were chasing each other all around, and kind of fun. But the other one was that there was a guy running the sound for the first night's concert who had no idea that a canopy sort of tent, which was over his equipment, had the ability to take off in a windstorm. So Victor and I over there holding on to this tent while he's just, it's fine. The second you let it go for a minute, it would just take off.
Yeah.
And so while he did his thing, we enjoyed the concert from almost backstage.
Yeah. Well, and on that particular concert, we had Love and Theft, and their bus had broke down in Vegas, and so they were a little bit late, which allowed the windstorm to go through. The first act had to put up with it. By the time they were on stage, the weather had calmed down, and it was actually really nice. Yeah. Another funny story that I shouldn't tell since we're on community television, but we had Blood, Sweat, and Tears come in, and nobody had turned on their RVs for their green room behind the stage. They were a little disappointed about that. So we were scrambling around to find them a nice place and buy them new food or whatever they had ordered. We kind of they'd put on a good concert, and people come out and enjoyed it. And we told them if they'd have a hit in the next decade, we'd take better care of them next time they come. But just kidding. Well, I don't think they've had a hit since before I was in kindergarten. So, but anyway, they did a good job. And what was fun about it is the group, the folks that came out, they were different than. Like, they wouldn't have come to the fair if we wouldn't have had that concert. So they had a good time and enjoyed it. So
not so much. Blood, Sweat, and Tears just must be a name then. That's not really something they can.
I think it's kind of like Chicago, and they just rotate the singer because the singer was like just barely off of Voice. He'd won several voice competitions, and so.
Well,
we did have a beer garden, and it seems that the Earth didn't come off its axis, and so. Everybody seemed to have a good time there. I am going to adjourn this meeting before.
I asked Susie and the chamber, so Pam probably will come next commission meeting to just give a small report, and so that should be exciting to kind of see from their viewpoint of how it turned out.
Thanks.
Well, with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting.